talking about traditions would be a reason why I had the thing, but I'm 48, so I'm a child of the 80s, and I'm the last generation that can remember what life was like before we had the internet, before the distractions, and the first generation to start embracing it. I'm good, how are you? And it's coming to Christmas, so Christmas is a perfect time for traditions. And 9 years ago, literally just opened this gym, I had this download, that's what I can call it, the download, where I started writing a Christmas book. And the Christmas book was called the GrobbleBobble. And Gareth Malloy, who was the coach here, he'll validate this. I wrote this book in 3 days. Now, I wrote it for my two daughters, one of whom wasn't even born at the point. Evelyn was still in Sinead's tummy when I wrote this book. She wasn't born until February, but I had to include her in it because the idea being was I was going to write a book that was going to allow them to remember the story. And my goal was to write a book that could be passed on to future generations. Now, the book is called The GrobbleBobble. I got it printed. Paid for that. I paid over $1,000 for these illustrations. I didn't buy it. I didn't write it to sell it. Actually, I wrote it for the kids. I wrote it to read it for my kids. But the idea being was that to read a chapter a night over the course of Advent for 24 nights, 24 chapters, 24 nights, each chapter, maybe 5 or 6 pages. And the reason I wrote it was because I believe that society has been set up in a way to divide the nuclei family unit. And when you look at kids today, they're just engrossed in their screens. There's no engagement with the parents, and our parents are our biggest influences. And there was nothing I loved more when I was a kid was having your mum or dad read you a story going to bed. And I miss that. You know, it's something it's a beautiful tradition that should be reborn because it brings families closer together. It creates memories that your child will hold on to for the rest of their lives. It's a bonding time. We live in a world where the bonding's gone. You know, the opportunities are lesser. We're so distracted, so busy, that we forget now. Like I said, you're meant to read this book one chapter a night over Advent, culminating at Christmas Eve. Okay, the whole premise of it, I'll read it because what if the greatest threat to Christmas was once its greatest protector? Hidden down and deep in the drifting town of Nimmendown, an angel story begins to stir. It's a tale of a forgotten elf, a forbidden spell, and a storm so powerful it could unravel Christmas itself. When stripy baubles spark of crackers, an eager but overlooked elf casts a spell to prove he's more than a snowflake spreader. He accidentally wakens up something buried long ago, a creature with fur, horns, and heartbreak, a legend locked away for centuries, the name never meant to be spoken, the GrobbleBobble. As the snow begins to fall and the trees begin to vanish, only a tiny elf named Toadstool, a brave girl named Sive, and a flicker of forgotten magic can save the North Pole before Christmas morning. Told across 24 magical chapters, one for each night of Advent, this is a story of belief, redemption, and a true story behind the sparkle. The perfect Christmas story for ages 9 to 12, and Christmas, and a magical for parents to read out loud. For children who still believe, for grown-ups who once stood, this is the GrobbleBobble. Now, this for me is an opportunity because I was able to write this, right? And I don't know how I wrote it. I genuinely don't know how I wrote it, but I did, and I'm proud of it. And I read it to my youngest. My eldest can read herself, but I read it to my youngest. And I'm telling you, the magic that I felt engaging in her energy, her looking up at me with excitement, you know, because she wasn't born when I wrote this in 2017, 6 months ago, I had to start rewriting the whole thing. And I rewrote it, kept the foundation of the story, but had to include her into the story. I had to give her a special part that tied in with the illustrations, but still allowed her to feel part of the magic. And honestly, the love that I got from just looking down, she was saying to me, Daddy, just one more. She was like this, Daddy, one more chapter. And she was knackered. And I was like, okay, so I read it. And then she'd be like, Daddy, Daddy, just give me one more chapter. And I was like, no, sweetheart, she's like, please, please. And she just wanted me to keep going and keep going and keep going. I haven't finished her. I haven't finished the book there. But reading that for her stirred up those feelings of just when your mummy or daddy read to me, my mummy and daddy read to me as a kid. And I realised the importance of that right now. Now, when I did it, I was feeling embarrassed when I first started, right? But see, within a chapter or two, I was putting on the voices, and the way I've written it. Look, I've even written it so that, it's bold when they're reading, when the people are speaking, and it's divided, so that the idea was that when the parents are reading it, they can get into the characters and they can, create the magic of Christmas. Because ultimately that's what kids desire. Like, the magic of Christmas has been lost. And it's the most beautiful time when we want it to be. If we removed the materialistic idea, the marketing that Christmas has been captivated by now, it's been overtaken through the marketing and what we need to give our kids and give them all the technological advancements and all these things, but we've lost the magic now. Forget about the Christianity story, right? Okay. Because some people aren't religious, but we all can get behind the magic of Christmas that once was. Like the 80s and 90s when it wasn't that important. When Christmas didn't start on the 1st of fucking November. When it was the 1st of December and the lead up to it. And let's be honest, the magic of Christmas is the lead up. Because the anticlimax is when the kids have opened their presents and that's it. You have a Christmas dinner, it's done. But the 24 days leading up to Christmas, that is when the magic happens. That is when we seem to connect. And it's something that can be revived quite easily. Christmas is about family. It's about the interaction. It's about the love. It's about the community, the sharing, the belonging. And that's freely available to us all. And this is why I wrote the book. So that I had an excuse to spend 10 minutes a night with my kids. Unfortunately, I'm not with my wife or the ex-partner anymore. But that's irrelevant. I can still read in the book. But the idea of one chapter a night, just 10 minutes with your child, sitting down, them cozied up in their bed, or having a hot chocolate, or whatever it is, and just you reading to them. It's more than just reading for them. It's time with mummy and daddy. And when you look back 20, 30, 40 years from now, there'll be moments you will think about that you go back, there was that Joe Rogan podcast, there was that episode where the guy turned around and said, when your kids are annoying you, I want you to future forecast yourself to 80 years old. And you've got one opportunity to come back to see them as kids. And it's this opportunity now, the opportunity that's they're doing your head in. How different would you be with them? They wouldn't annoy you. We've allowed society and the distractions to fog our mind and cloud it so that we don't see the opportunity. And the tradition of Christmas is something that can be reborn. We can rebirth it quite easily. And it doesn't have to involve money. Because Christmas was never about money. Christmas was about connection. It was about family. It was about the love you shared between the people that mattered. And no one matters more than your kids. Nothing on this earth as a parent matters more than your children. So why would you not carve out 10 minutes a night over Advent to just give yourself an excuse to spend some time and build a memory? It's a Christmas tradition. And this is what this book does for me. It gives me the opportunity to carve out that Christmas tradition that will stay in my kids' brains for the rest of their lives. It can happen for you as well. Now, of course, I'm going to say, buy the GrobbleBobble. It's on Amazon if you want to buy it. But more importantly, find a way to create a tradition that allows you to engage with your children the way our parents would have engaged with us before the internet. It could be playing Trivial Pursuit or Scrabble or something that doesn't rely on technology. Something that allows the children to be themselves. One of the best games I ever played with my kids was charades. It was the best fun I ever had. We wrote things down, films and everything, and we just acted them out, and it was amazing. And that 10, 15, 20 minutes turned into half an hour, 40 minutes an hour, where the laughter flowed and the joy in their faces as they expressed themselves, and were allowed to be kids the way we were kids. It is something so fundamental to the human experience that we've lost connection with. Like I said, I'm going to plug my book. Buy it. It's available on Amazon. 24 chapters, 1 chapter a night over Advent. It gives you an excuse to sit with your kids and create that magical experience. So if you want it, buy it. It's on Amazon, the GrobbleBobble. I love it. The kids love it. You'll enjoy it. I've wrote it in a way that the parents will enjoy reading it, because it's each chapter builds on the next and leaves you at a cliffhanger the kids will love. And it's not that long. It's going to take you a maximum of 10 minutes a night. But 10 minutes over 24 nights is going to build an experience that your kids will never forget.